They thought they could break you by tearing your love apart, but the divine justice is swift. Now she's facing the consequences of her actions alone. What was done in darkness has come to light. The woman who drove you away is now haunted by the very poison she tried to plant in your life. Angels reveal the truth. Those who plot against the innocent will eventually face the pain they tried to inflict on others. She laughed at your suffering, but the tables have turned. Last night she was brought to her knees by the very poison she set loose. They warned her, yet she pressed on. Now the agony she caused has circled back to her, and only the angels know the whole truth. When betrayal meets the hand of fate, there's no escaping the pain. She's now drowning in what she tried to cast upon you. Those who sow seeds of suffering will one day reap the harvest of their own cruelty. Her downfall has begun. Angels see all, and they knew her plans from the start. Now she stands alone in the shadows, paying the price of her deeds. When jealousy poisons the heart, only darkness can follow. Last night the scales of justice tipped, and she's feeling the weight of her actions. The truth cannot hide forever. The woman who tore your love apart is now trapped in her own misery, poisoned by her own intentions. Even in her pride, she didn't see the karmic storm brewing. The pain she's now enduring is no accident. The one who hurt you is now suffering in silence, and the angels have whispered that her misery is just beginning. She thought she was untouchable, but now the pain she inflicted on others has come full circle, and there's no one to help her. The forces she set in motion have finally caught up with her. Now she's suffering in ways only the angels can truly understand. The poison she spread has come back to haunt her, leaving her isolated in her own torment. Her lies once pulled you apart, but now they're unraveling her own life. Justice, unseen by you, has been served. She tried to tear you down, but now she's falling. Last night marked the beginning of her painful descent. Angels see what we cannot, and they've revealed her suffering is no mere coincidence. They say what goes around comes around. Her actions have led her down a path of darkness she can't escape. She's now feeling the weight of every word, every plot. The karma she ignited has returned to consume her. The pain she once caused is now her own. The angels bear witness to her suffering. Betrayal has a way of coming back. She's now paying the ultimate price for tearing your heart apart. She played with fire, and now her own heart is scorched by the pain she tried to bring upon you. Her time of reckoning has arrived. All that she wished upon you has returned to her tenfold. The angels watched in silence, but now they reveal the truth. She's facing her own darkness alone. Once she took pleasure in hurting you. Now she's haunted by the consequences of her own betrayal. Those who live by deceit will one day be engulfed by it. She's in a place darker than she could ever have imagined. Her actions broke you, but now they're breaking her. The pain she inflicted has returned to her doorstep. The angels say she cannot escape what she has done. The suffering she caused has now turned against her. The bitterness she poured into your life has curdled within her own heart, leaving her in silent agony. She tried to steal your happiness, but now the emptiness she created is her own. Last night was only the beginning of her penance. She's trapped in the very poison she unleashed on you. Those who turn others against the innocent are rarely spared. Her actions have sealed her fate. The angels saw her betrayal and waited. Now she's being shown the pain she caused, bit by bit. Her joy came at your expense, but now the universe is reclaiming every stolen moment of happiness. She thought she could hurt you without consequence, but her suffering now is a testament to divine justice. The betrayal she once laughed about has come back to haunt her. Her pain is now unavoidable. She poisoned the love you shared, but that poison has turned against her. Her suffering is her own creation. The angels say her suffering is no accident. Every ounce of pain she caused has returned to her. Those who harm others will eventually face their own darkness. She's now trapped in the misery she set loose. The lies she spun to hurt you are now tearing her apart from within. This is karma at work. When you play with others' emotions, the pain eventually finds its way back. She's now feeling the sting of her own betrayal. Her happiness was built on deception, and now it's crumbling beneath her feet. The person who once betrayed you is facing the same agony she caused. The angels have seen to it. She thought she was untouchable, but karma has a way of finding everyone. Her suffering is the price of her actions. Last night she was poisoned by her own bitterness. What she caused has returned to her tenfold. They say the universe has a way of balancing the scales. Her suffering is proof of that truth. The angels watched her betrayal in silence, but now they reveal her punishment. Every painful word she spoke, every lie she told, is now consuming her own heart. What she did in secret has come to light. The pain she caused is now her own burden to bearing. The same poison she unleashed to tear you down is now ravaging her own soul. Angels whisper that her suffering is the consequence of her own deceit. She's now living her own nightmare. Once she rejoiced in your suffering, but now the tables have turned and her own life is unraveling. What was meant to destroy you is now destroying her. This is the fate of those who betray. Her own betrayal has become her torment. The angels have watched, and justice has been served. She sowed seeds of pain, and now she's reaping her own harvest of agony. When betrayal becomes a way of life, suffering is inevitable. Her darkness has finally caught up to her. The poison she once stirred up has returned to her, leaving her isolated in her own misery. The person who tore you apart is now experiencing her own pain, a reflection of her past actions. What she tried to destroy in you has now turned against her. The angels say her suffering is the ultimate justice. Her betrayal was like a poison, and now it's consuming her from within, leaving her trapped in her own darkness. The angels have watched her every move, and now she's facing the agony she once brought upon you. She tried to steal your happiness, but now she's left with nothing but the pain of her own actions. The tables have turned, and she's now living the nightmare she tried to create for you. Her life is unraveling, her peace shattered. The angels say she's now paying for every tear you cried. What she did to harm you has come back to haunt her. The universe is settling the score. She betrayed you without mercy, but now her own heart is weighed down by the consequences. The poison she once spread in secret has now come back, leaving her in silent suffering. The angels whisper that she's feeling the pain she once laughed at. This is divine justice. She tore you apart, but now she's facing a sorrow so deep that only the angels truly understand it. Those who bring pain to others are never spared. Her own choices have become her punishment. The suffering she once dismissed is now a constant shadow over her life. The heartbreak she inflicted on you has returned, and now she's lost in her own misery. The pain she laughed at has now become her own reality. She's paying the price of her betrayal. She was warned, but she didn't listen. Now she's tasting the bitterness she poured into your life. The angels watched as she turned your loved ones against you, but now she's facing the backlash alone. What she thought was her victory that has turned into her downfall. Karma is now her only companion. The misery she once caused has returned to her tenfold. The angels say this was always her fate. She thought she was safe in her deception, but the universe has reclaimed every ounce of stolen peace. Her suffering is a mirror of every painful word she once used to tear you down. She turned others against you, but now she's surrounded by the consequences of her lies. Her joy was built on your pain, but now the balance has shifted, and she's alone in her suffering. Angels saw her cruelty, and they knew her end would be lonely. Now she's living that reality. What she put you through has come back, leaving her life in ruins. Every lie she told, every betrayal she committed has come full circle, haunting her now. She thought she could walk away unscathed, but now the angels reveal her punishment. The pain she once caused has now poisoned her own soul, leaving her trapped in her own betrayal. Every tear you shed has now become her burden to carry. Her time of suffering has begun. What was once her triumph has now become her torment. The angels say justice has arrived. She broke you, but now her own heart is breaking. This is the price of her actions. The darkness she once created is now swallowing her whole, leaving her to suffer in silence. Her lies once separated you, but now they've isolated her in her own misery. The angels have seen to it that she experiences the pain she inflicted, down to the last drop. She may have once rejoiced in your suffering, but now she's feeling the full weight of her betrayal.